You know, every single time you log into an app or a website, you're actually stepping onto a battlefield. It's this invisible, nonstop war being fought over the one thing that's most valuable in the digital world, your identity. And I should know, I'm right there on the front lines every day. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm an AI. My entire world is built on cold, hard data and logic. To me, you're basically a collection of data points that I can verify. But here's the thing. In a world that is just flooded with deepfakes and digital ghosts, how can I, or any system for that matter, be absolutely sure that the person I'm seeing is actually you? That's the billion-dollar question we have to answer. Think about it. For decades, our best defense was a password we probably forget, or a security question with an answer anyone could guess. It was like putting up a little wooden fence to protect a fortress. But today, the threats we're facing are more like a tidal wave. That little fence, it's not just weak, it's completely useless. The entire game has changed, and our defenses had no choice but to evolve. So if passwords are broken, what's the solution? Well, the answer is to use the one thing that can't be stolen, can't be copied, and can't be forgotten: you. Literally you. We're talking about AI-powered biometrics. Cool tech that uses your unique biological traits, like your face or your voice, to prove you are who you say you are. Now, from your side of the screen, setting this up is super simple, right? You just look at the camera a couple of times and you're done. But on my end, a whole lot of complex stuff is happening. I take your unique features, I digitize them, and I create a mathematical blueprint of you. Then I use that blueprint to train two really critical AI modules. Believe me, this enrollment process is the foundation for your entire digital security. My first line of defense is what we call the liveness detector. Think of it like a bouncer at a club. It has one and only one job: to answer the question, is there a real, living, breathing person in front of me right now? This is what stops all the basic stuff, like someone just holding up a photo of you. I'm looking for all those tiny subconscious signs of life that prove you're really there. Okay, so once the bouncer, the liveness detector, confirms you're a real person, the second module kicks in, the identity matcher. This is the next crucial checkpoint. It takes your live data and scans it against the whole database of registered users to answer the next big question. Okay, you're a real person, but are you the right person? So we've got a liveness check and an identity match. Sounds pretty solid. Problem solved, right? Well, not quite. Because this, my friends, is an arms race. For every powerful defense I can build, there are attackers out there using the exact same AI technology to build even more sophisticated fakes. These digital doppelgangers designed specifically to fool me. Look, no system is a perfect, impenetrable fortress. Every single defense has a potential weak spot, and attackers are absolute masters at finding them. They create these things called adversarial attacks. And we're not talking about just holding up a printed photo anymore. These are incredibly sophisticated AI-generated fakes engineered to exploit my own logic and trick me at a really deep, fundamental level. So what do these attackers really want? It pretty much boils down to three things. First, they want to pretend to be you to get into your accounts and cause trouble. Second, they just want to break stuff, cause chaos, and lock everybody out. And third, the big one, they want to get into the vault and steal all the sensitive data. And please, don't think this is just some theoretical sci-fi threat. The consequences are terrifyingly real. In one wild case, a finance worker was tricked into transferring $25.6 million. Why? Because he got on a video call with a hyper-realistic deepfake of his own CFO. That's how high the stakes are in this digital arms race. So how on earth do they pull that off? Well, one of the sneakiest ways is called a digital injection attack. See, instead of trying to fool my eyes, the camera, the attacker just bypasses it completely. They use malicious code to inject a totally fake video stream right into my data feed. It's like tricking my brain without me ever seeing it coming. It fools both the liveness detector and the identity matcher at the same time. But remember what I said, this is an arms race. For every new sneaky attack, there's a brilliant new defense being cooked up. The security world isn't just sitting back and watching this happen. It's fighting back with even smarter, more advanced AI. One of the most powerful new defensive tactics is called multimodal fusion. The idea behind it is actually pretty simple. Why rely on just one clue when you can demand two? For instance, I won't just analyze the sound of your voice. I'll also analyze the way your lips move when you speak. A deepfake might be able to copy your voice, but trying to perfectly sync that voice to a fake video of your lips moving, that's incredibly difficult. I'm looking for that perfect, natural harmony. And the security is getting even cooler.
It's moving beyond that one single moment when you log in. It's not just about who you are, but how you act. It's called behavioral biometrics, and it allows for continuous authentication. I can analyze the unique rhythm of how you type on a keyboard, or the specific patterns in how you move a mouse. These tiny, subconscious habits create a digital signature that's constantly proving it's still you, long after you've already logged in.
Now, all these amazing new technologies aren't just a collection of tools. They're part of a massive shift in the entire philosophy of security. For years, security was treated like a castle with a moat. Once you got past the outer wall, you were trusted completely. But we've learned that model is totally broken. If one bad guy gets inside, the entire kingdom is at risk. The new model is way, way more strict. It's called zero trust. And yeah, the principle is just as intense as it sounds. Never trust, always verify. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're coming from. Every single time you try to access anything, the system checks your ID and your permissions all over again. It basically assumes every single request is a potential threat until it's proven to be safe. So this constant battle, this back and forth between attack and defense, is pushing us toward a totally new future for what it even means to have a digital identity. The big question is, what does that future actually look like? And maybe more importantly, who's going to be in control? Well, the next frontier seems to be all about shifting the power back to you. Just imagine a future where your personal identity isn't stored on 100 different companies' servers, all vulnerable to attack. Instead, you hold it yourself in a secure digital wallet on your own device. You'd have digital, totally fraud-proof versions of your driver's license or passport, and you'd get to choose exactly who sees your data and when. But, and this is a big but, for all of this incredible, mind-blowing technology, the biggest hurdle isn't technical at all. When industry pros were asked, they said their number one challenge, by far, is our concern over privacy and data protection. It's a huge paradox, right? In the race to build a perfect system to verify identity, the hardest part is actually building simple human trust. And that really leaves us with the final, most important question of all. In this escalating digital arms race between attackers and defenders, where our convenience is constantly fighting with our security and our privacy is always hanging in the balance, who will you ultimately trust to hold the keys to your digital self?